Alright, triggers and trickers. We're getting there. We're getting there. I mean, I'm getting there, but you know what I mean. So now, let's take a look at Parallels. After competing in a Bat'leth tournament on the planet Forcus 3, Lieutenant Worf returns to the Enterprise and is treated to a surprise birthday party, much to his annoyance. As he attends the party, he starts to notice subtle changes, such as the flavor of the cake changing and a painting given him by Data appearing on a different wall. The changes start to become more pronounced. As the Cardassian vessels attacks the Enterprise, unfamiliar controls result in Worf failing to raise the shields, leading to the death of Geordi LaForge. Despite retaining his initial memories, Worf has no evidence that reality has changed, and his own personal logs support the stories given by the other crew members. One other major changes occur. Riker is the captain of the Enterprise in a reality wherein Picard was killed by the Borg. The Bajorans became the oppressors of the Cardassians and enemies of the Federation. Wesley Crusher is a lieutenant on the Enterprise. Alyssa Ogawa is the chief medical officer, and Worf finds himself married to Deanna Troi. Oh boy. Upon investigation, the crew find that Worf's RNA has an unusual quantum signature and confirm that he is from a different universe. The crew theorizes that Worf, on his original return from the Bat'leth tournament, passed through a time-space fissure where the shuttlecraft's engines causing Worf to quantum flux between several parallel universes. Data determines that Worf's proximity to LaForge's visor caused Worf to shift between universes, and that each universe covers a different possibility. In effect, anything that could possibly happen has done so in a parallel universe, hence the believable changes in the reality that Worf is experiencing. The Enterprise returns to the location of the fissure, attempting to return Worf to his original universe. The Enterprise is then attacked by a Bajoran ship, which causes the fissure to destabilize and the various realities to merge, resulting in over 285,000 versions of the Enterprise appearing in the same area of space. Data determines that the only way to restore their realities is to send Worf via the shuttlecraft to the Enterprise of his universe, passing through the fissure and using the shuttlecraft's engines to reseal it. After locating the correct ship, Worf begins to travel back, but is attacked by another Enterprise that has come from a Borg-overrun universe, its crew refusing to return. The Enterprise that he left fires upon the hostile ship and destroys it. Worf safely passes through the fissure, finding himself back in normality with a single Enterprise in front of him. After boarding, Worf finds that no time has passed since he initially entered the fissure. When he returns to his room expecting a surprise party, he finds only Worf waiting to give him a single present, and, knowing that the two are married in many alternate universes, invites her to share dinner with him. Oh boy, I wonder how Riker's gonna feel about that. So anyway, let's get some production notes about this episode. Writer Brandon Braga initially conceived the episode as centered on Captain Picard rather than Worf. It was only when planning out the story that he realized that there would not be a great deal of personal differences across realities with Picard. As such, he decided to include Worf as the main character, and chose to place him in a romance with Troi as he felt that most people would not have expected it. Braga considered writing Tasha Yar into the episode, but he felt that this would have copied yesterday's Enterprise, so he replaced her with Wesley Crusher, played by Will Wheaton. Further changes were made to the script as Braga had intended for Worf to be sung Happy Birthday to You in the Klingon language, but the cost for the rights to the song would have been prohibitive, and so the idea was dropped. Aw, that would have been cool to hear. /see. Executive producer Jerry Taylor approved the initial outline, but was concerned that it might be potentially confusing. She was happy with the outcome and described it as having, quote, worked like gangbusters. She felt that the Worf-Troi romance had been slowly played by the writers on the show since the 5th season episode Ethics, and had been an ambition of the show since the Fistful of Datas in the 6th season. After being included in Parallels, the relationship was featured several times during the final season of The Next Generation. Michael Piller was not enthused with the initial idea, but Taylor felt that the means by which it evolved saved it. Braga thought, in hindsight, that Crusher's appearance could have been explained more, but at the time, he felt it was most intriguing if he was, quote, just there. He also wanted to avoid suggesting that Worf was going insane, since that theme had been covered in the previous season, the episode Frame of Mind. Director Robert Weimer sought to have a conclusion ending to the episode to state Worf's future intentions. Worf's suggestion of Champagne to Troi was written by Taylor to accommodate this. Parallels reused a number of previously seen props and costumes, including Troi's entire wardrobe, entire uniform wardrobe, with the exception of the first season outfits. Other elements, such as the Argus Array, a space station model, had appeared in other episodes, and alternative comm badges used in the episode have been seen in Future Imperfect. The space station Deep Space 5 was a redress of Regular 1 from Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Modifications were made to the bridge set in one reality. These will later be reused for the Future Enterprise in the series finale, All Good Things. The effect showing multiple copies of the Enterprise was achieved by photographing the same model from multiple angles, resulting in more than 100 appearing on screen. The scene with multiple wharfs was produced through the use of split screens and stand-ins. The simultaneous portrayal of numerous different universes was cited by Roberto Orci, one of the screenwriters for the 2009 film Star Trek, as proof that, despite the movie's creation of a secondary timeline, the regular Trek universe was unaffected, and everything from the original series onwards still went on as it had before. He said that Parallels was using the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, in which a new timeline does not override a previous one, unlike previous episodes in the franchise, such as The City on the Edge of Forever and Yesterday's Enterprise. Oh, that's interesting. Let's look at some themes about this episode. The multiverse idea featured in Parallels have been discussed by commentators. Theoretical physicist Lawrence M. Krauss praised the episode for the inclusion of the idea in his book The Physics of Star Trek, although added that it incorrectly explained measurement in quantum mechanics. This quantum mechanics theory explained that during the episode was called a, quote, little sketchy by Michelle and Duncan Barrett in their book Star Trek: The Human Factor. They based this on mathematical physicist Roger Penrose's theory that there is no identified physics for bridging the gap between physics and quantum physics. They first noted the use that the Star Trek franchise has made of the idea of the multiverse and different timelines. Huh. So overall, I say this is a pretty interesting episode, and the fact that Worf was the main center character of the episode, I thought was kind of interesting in a way. So overall, I give Parallels 5 warp cores out of 5. Well, join me soon so we take a look at the Pegasus. So, until then, live long and prosper, everybody.